Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I wanted to make a video about the Ace Combat 7 DLC. You saw me playing this a few weeks ago, a lot of you guys liked it when I did a playthrough of it, and the next part is going to be coming out next week, and there's also a third part that's going to be coming out next month also. But in the story, in this DLC, we have the Alicorn, which is a submarine that is apparently carrying WMDs. The story is that the submarine has been underwater for 2 years and has recently surfaced, and the commander of the submarine, Captain Torres, has gone insane, and he has gone against the Erusian military, his own military, and he was actually planning on dropping a WMD on Aured, the capital of the Ocean Federation, the protagonist's country, at the end of the level, and you have to shoot down the plane that was carrying it. But the thing is, though, what interested me a lot about this level was that at the very end of the level, at the briefing, North actually states, how did they know that we had information about their WMDs? There has to be a spy. So apparently, there's a traitor in your ranks. Somebody is giving information to Torres, somebody is working with Torres, and we don't know who Scream and Rage are, the two pilots that also appeared halfway through the level and attacked Trigger.
The operation has been completed. Stand by for further orders.
Hold on. We still don't know who those bats were. Why were they after Trigger? They were using Osia's radio frequency. You mean they're on our side?
Impossible. They didn't respond to our IFF. Or maybe they were there to settle a personal score. There's nothing unusual about being shot in the back by an ally.
Guess it might have been that way where we came from, but you know what I'm saying, Trigger?
Everyone, here's a question.
That's enough. Remove him from the call.
Wait, don't hang up on me yet. How did they know that we had intelligence on their weapons of mass destruction? They never would have taken such actions if they didn't know.
They have a spy.
Better to be suspicious than not, I suppose.
At the very least, we'll have to assume from here on out that they know everything that we do.
So what I was doing is, I was, replaying this level, I was looking at my previous footage, trying to see if I could figure out, who the traitor is, and this is just my personal speculation on this, is just what I personally think, and I actually have some evidence to support my claim on here. I don't know this 100%, but we'll see on the next DLC how right I am, because eventually they're going to reveal the traitor, because they wouldn't just have like a big, ending like that saying that there has to be a spy without revealing who it is in the next two DLCs. So it's either going to be revealed in the second DLC or the third DLC who the traitor is. So I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts, and also let me know down below if you guys played through this who you think the traitor is. But I'm going to be showing you guys who I think it is, and basically to sum it up, major spoilers ahead, who I think the traitor is I think the traitor is actually Brigadier General Clemens, actually the guy who's given you the mission. A lot of people are probably thinking, what? How can this guy be the traitor? Well, there's actually a lot of things that I have to actually support this claim. Let me show you guys the first piece of evidence that I have here. When North is giving his briefing on the submarine, talking, about its schematics, what the submarine can do, and that the submarine was underwater for 2 years, right after that, Clemens actually interrupts him and says that the submarine has WMDs, weapons of mass destruction. When North asks him for the source, how he knows that, he dodges the question and then moves on to another point. Take a look at this, listen to this.
RPM cluster. Okay, so we just blow up the damn thing?
We capture it. Don't make me repeat myself. We've had reports from local sources that there are weapons of mass destruction aboard the Alicorn.
Source.
If we can secure that evidence, we'll gain advantage in the peace negotiations post-war.
Okay, so you guys heard that right there. Clemens knows that the submarine has WMDs on it. He's the only one that knows it has WMDs. And then when North asks him to state his source, how he knows that, he doesn't answer it. He just moves on to the next point. So why is he dodging the question? Why isn't he answering exactly how he knows the submarine is carrying WMDs? Unless he has first-hand knowledge directly from Torres, and he's working with Torres. There's also a few other hints in the level, and I think the creators of this game, I think that they put these hints in here on purpose, because if you really focus on the dialogue, you can notice a few things when you're replaying for the missions. That's what I love about Ace Combat, they put a lot of effort into their stories. So let me move on to point number 2, showing a little bit more evidence that he's involved. Okay, so the next piece of evidence is coming up when Scream and Rage actually spawn. Now, halfway through the battle, these brother and sister, they will actually spawn and they will go after Trigger, and they are in some pretty advanced fighters, and the Oseans actually state that the Erusians don't typically fly in those, and Rage actually tells Scream not to go after the Erusians, so they're not with Osea, they're not with the Erusians. We can only assume that they're with Captain Torres, because in this battle there's 3 factions. There's the Erusians, there's the Oseans, and then there's Captain Captain Torres' faction. We don't know what Captain Torres' motivations are yet, but, you know, at the end of the battle, he basically admits that he's not on Erusia's side. So, right when you go after Scream or you go after Rage, eventually when you damage either one of them enough, they will actually break off and they will actually start retreating. And this is the part where Clemens actually gets involved. When Trigger goes after them, one of them, and damages them enough, Clemens will actually eventually tell Trigger to actually back off and stop pursuing. Listen to this.
Hit me! Shit, Scream, pulling out. We can't take down 3 strikes with damaged planes. God damn it!
This'll hit.
3 strikes? I will have you! You will die! What? Am I hearing things?
No, I hear too.
Hey, those filthy bats are on the run! Let them go. Secure air superiority and protect your allies.
Okay, so you guys heard that. When Trigger damages either Rage or Scream, one of them enough, they will actually break off and start retreating. And this is the part where, you know, if the whole squad goes after them, they could shoot them down and destroy both of them because they're the 2 biggest threats during this battle. They are the most effective pilots. But Clemens tells them to break off, and, you know, his reasoning for this is to protect your allies. But in this level, you could already blow up a lot of the enemies. You could already kill a lot of the enemies, and, you know, the ships won't have that many enemies going after them. So why would Clemens be against, you know, Trigger and everybody else is finishing them off there? But also, you know, with Rage and Scream, there's also another point, which is, you know, how do they have access to Ocean frequency? Because, you know, the rest of the squad says, am I hearing things? How do they have access to the same frequency that the Ocean pilots have? You know, how could they possibly have that? The only thing I could think of is either they stole a jet from Osea, or, you know, they have gained access to that frequency from a traitor, from some kind of superior, possibly Clemens in this point. Another piece of evidence that I have to suggest that Brigadier General Clemens is actually involved is nearing the end of the level. Once you gain air superiority, you pretty much destroy all the enemies. The skies are clear, and the rest of the team is going after the sub. What happens at this point is that Clemens actually says that he's leaving, and he's handing down command to Wiseman. And I thought that this was kind of strange because, you know, this is your operation. This is the operation that he planned. He planned this whole operation out, and now all of a sudden, you know, we're nearing the end of this, we're about to complete it, and you just leave? And the reason that this is so significant is because the moment that he leaves, Torres actually launches the WMD, like, right after him. So is he in contact with Torres? Just listen to this part. Right after he leaves, Torres launches the WMD.
Puffin, this is Longcaster. Enemy's resistance is dwindling and we've almost secured air superiority.
Puffin copy. Commencing capture operation.
The rest is all yours, Captain. Now I can finally have my sausage rolls.
That's the kind of food you eat up there?
Of course, anything other than finger food would get in the way of my duties.
That clearly wasn't what she meant. Took longer than I expected. I'll be leaving now. You take command from here on. Woo. Well done, pilot.
Then slow ahead both engines.
Are you sure? Landing ship Puffin to all active units. Enemy submarine has started moving.
Main guns commence fire.
Bearing 180, cruising at 5 knots. Movement on the deck. It's their aircraft.
Alicorn fired on her with the railgun. The landing ship's on fire. It's gonna sink.
Confirming launch of submarine-based aircraft. 4 bird. It appears one of them is carrying a cruise missile.
What?
What in the world?
What happened? Listen up. You need to take that bird down. Hurry!
Patch me in. Do you hear me? David North here. There's a possibility the cruise missile is a WMD.
Shit! Hey, what about the submarine?
We gotta help our ship first.
Don't lose them. Shoot them down.
The WMD was most likely a distraction so that this Alicorn, the submarine, could actually flee the area here. Now, at the very end of the level, we also have another piece of evidence, which is what I showed you originally, which is Clemens trying to cut off North. So when North actually says, let me say something, and actually says there's probably a spy, a traitor here, how do they know about our knowledge of their WMDs? Clemens actually kind of like brushes it off. He doesn't act like it's serious, you know, and he's being so serious throughout the whole level. He is extremely strict. He shows very little care for his soldiers, very little care for his pilots, telling them to gain air superiority when they are clearly outnumbered, not waiting for reinforcements to show up, just sending them out to die. And yet, this guy's telling him there's probably a traitor, a spy, that knows about all of our plans, and he's taking these operations so seriously, but then when he's presented with this, he doesn't take it so seriously. Why is that?
The operation has been completed. Stand by for further orders.
Hold on. We still don't know who those bats were. Why were they after Trigger? They were using Osia's radio frequency. You mean they're on our side?
Impossible. They didn't respond to our IFF. Or maybe they were there to settle a personal score. There's nothing unusual about being shot in the back by an ally.
Guess it might have been that way where we came from, but you know what I'm saying, Trigger?
Everyone, here's a question.
That's enough. Remove him from the call.
Wait, don't hang up on me yet. How did they know that we had intelligence on their weapons of mass destruction? They never would have taken such actions if they didn't know.
They have a spy.
Better to be suspicious than not, I suppose.
At the very least, we'll have to assume from here on out that they know everything that we do.
So let's say that everything that I've said is 100% correct, because I don't know for certain, guys. This is just my speculation. This is just what I think. This is just the way that I interpreted it when I looked at the level again. I looked at what the characters were saying. But if it is the case, why is Clemens working with Torres? Why is he helping him? I don't really know the answer to that question. If there is an answer, it's probably going to be revealed later on in the second and third DLC. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But we don't know what Torres's ultimate motivations are. He wanted to nuke. He wanted to nuke parts of Osea. He's saying to end the war through some extreme measures. And he has been underwater for 2 years. He's been underwater for 2 years, so he has probably gone insane being trapped under that submarine for 2 years, and his crew has been with him, so he probably brainwashed his crew, and his crew see him as some kind of god. But the question is, though, if Clemens is the traitor, how did Torres get in contact with him, and why is Clemens helping him in the first place? I guess we'll see this in the future DLCs. The next DLC is supposed to come out next week, I believe, so I'll have that DLC level up when it does come out. So I thank you guys for watching, and if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, and if you're new to my channel and enjoy my content, then subscribe. Tell me, what do you think if you played this level? Do you agree with my interpretation, or do you think that somebody else is the traitor? Let me know what you think down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.